name. It says it stands against the atrocities, calling them Afrophobic attacks. The Banking Association South Africa, on behalf of all the major banks, has also condemned the xenophobic violence. It says South Africa prides itself on standing at the forefront of promoting Africa as a continent of opportunity, a continent that is ready to receive private sector investment and promote African unity and collaboration. Well, we're now joined on the line by the MD of the Banking Association, Coovadia. Good evening to you, Kaz. Firstly, there's been a race into Africa among the big banks here. Are there any workers out there fearing reprisal attacks?
Well, we haven't received any reports of reprisal attacks against South African people who are working in South African banks on the rest of the continent. But you know, just listening to your newscast, what's happening in Mozambique and elsewhere, I think that's unfortunate, but you know, one can't actually be too surprised about that. So these sorts of reprisals or these sorts of actions on the part of people in other parts of Africa, while regrettable, are understandable, I guess.
Does this mean more security measures, Kaz?
Well, if it comes to that, it would mean security measures, but the critical issue is that we've got to deal with the problem that we've got here, because that's what's causing problems against South African people in other parts of the continent. And our statement we came out with, the release we came out with, is to say that we've got to deal with the xenophobic tendencies that's here in South Africa, that we believe that those need to be condemned in the strongest terms, while there are underlying issues of joblessness and so on. Immigrants coming to South Africa for whatever reasons, working in South Africa, creating small businesses in South Africa, and through the businesses employing South Africans are not the problem. The problem are our underlying issues which we've got to deal with.
Kaz, I think that message needs to be enforced even more, and banking more than any sector knows the value of bringing skilled workers in and exporting services across borders, allowing migrant workers to send money home, and like you say, entrepreneurs move and they create jobs. So I guess we really need to enforce the benefits.
Absolutely, we need to. Look, we obviously need to develop the skills of South Africans to actually participate in sectors like banking, which need skilled people, and we are doing that. But that's a medium to long-term project. In the meantime, if we have people from other parts of Africa, Asia, and other parts of the world who are willing to come and work in South Africa, who are willing to actually contribute to our economic growth, which then leads to improvement in the socio-economic conditions of South Africans as well. We should be welcoming that. We should also be very mindful of the fact that South Africa needs foreign investment. And the sorts of stuff that's happening on our streets at the moment, the sorts of reporting that's coming on TV and so on, of people being actually thrown out, houses being burned, people being hounded out of the places of living, do not actually send out a message that we want investment here, do not actually send confidence out amongst investors that this is a safe place to invest. We need to be extremely careful about that, and we shouldn't be actually sending out those sorts of messages.
So long-term implications like the power crunch, like the strikes that we had last year. Kaz, tell me more about, have you spoken to any banking business leaders, or can you speculate? I've heard from some business people that South Africans are already seen as sometimes arrogant on the African continent. You know, they go in headstrong, and surely this can't help perceptions out there.
No, it can't, and I don't think it's a sort of general rule that South Africans do that. I think there are instances of that, and I think what the message we would want to send out is that, you know, there is plenty that we can learn from parts of Africa outside of South Africa. We need to go into those countries with our skills, with our experiences, understand those environments, just like we want to develop skills in our own countries, we should also contribute toward the development of skills in the countries in other parts of Africa that we work in. And this whole thing about African unity, about Africans actually taking charge of their own lives on the continent, if we're serious about that, then we as South Africans also, when we go out, we need to contribute to the development of those countries, just as I think that immigrants from other parts of Africa and other parts of the world are contributing to the development of our economy. And that's the sort of mindset we should have. If we're talking about a continent that has the potential to grow, a continent that should be reaching its optimal state of growth, then all Africans have got to put their shoulders to the wheel across Africa, irrespective of which country they are in. And the environment should be created for that to happen. And the sorts of stuff that's happening in South Africa at the moment is just not the environment that's to be created. I mean, we talk of Ubuntu in South Africa. Well, let's start practicing Ubuntu, for God's sake.
And hopefully business will be involved in getting that message out strongly. Thank you very much. The MD of the Banking Association South Africa.